Hi everybody! First we will cast on the machine, one in the front, one in the back. For the first row, the machine I use is the SENTRO 22 needle. When you do the first row, then you put your yarn in the yarn feeder and in the tension below the machine. And then you crank. With waste yarn, usually I do like 5 rows of waste yarn, put that in the middle, bring my project yarn, for this case is a blue, put it in the same place that I ended with the waste yarn, and then I crank and I make sure that all my yarn get grabbed by the hook, and then I will be okay to crank the machine. Don't attach those two tails together because we will remove the waste yarn at the end. What is the waste yarn is used for? It's to help us to get our stitches at the end to close both ends of the tube. So I crank like this, and then I will do the cast off. For the cast off, I will cut my project yarn, put that in the middle, bring back my waste yarn, put it close to the other yarn in the yarn feeder, and then hold it, make sure that it's been grabbed by the hook, and then I crank for at least 5 rows. I will give you the recipe soon, don't worry. So I will continue to crank till it ends the waste yarn, and the machine will release the project by itself. It's like magic. When it's done, sometimes some stitch gets stuck like this. You could use it like remove it like this, or use a loom hook. So the recipe is 5 waste yarn, 40 for the yarn that you use for the project, and then 5 waste yarn to cast off the project. Now it's time to close the tube. To close the tube, you will start sewing the opposite way of the tail of your project yarn. So grab a hook size 4 or 5. I go get the stitch one side, bring it back, and one the other side. And if you're not comfortable with the hook, I will leave a link in the video. It's 5 ways to close a tube. Use number 3 if you're not comfortable with a hook. It will be an alternative till you get more comfortable with the hook, and it will give you more option to use your machine and do magnifique project with it. So almost done. Make sure you grab all the stitches because you don't want any drop stitch. And you notice that the waste yarn is very different color than the project yarn, and it's a good thing because it helps to catch the right stitch. There, I got one here. And sometimes the stitch gets very tight, so it's good to have a loom hook not far to help you pick your stitches when you get to the end like this. So that's it for this side. I will remove the waste yarn. Just remove the first row like this, and then you pull. After you pull, you could save that waste yarn for another project. Ta-da! It's done. So now it's time to stretch a little bit and make sure that your project is not twisted. You don't want it to be twisted, so be careful. Put your tail in one side and bring the other side with the hook and close it like we just did. I will put it a little bit faster because you already seen that, and we are almost to the twist part. Twist time. So I close it one side and then the other side, one side and then the other side, and I will close it with the tail at the end of this row. This project is it's like a last minute gift, or for a workplace colleague, or for friend, or little gift exchange during Christmas time. So I pull it and I will remove the waste yarn. When the waste yarn is all gone, it's time to hide those tail. Hide those tail, you just take your wool needle and cut the excess. Be careful, do not cut your project. Stretch again, and it's twist time. Very careful. It's the big deal. You go in the middle with one side and you do like 2V that come together. The important part here is to take your wool needle and grab all those 4 layers of work. Make sure you got all those 4. And then you come back and do the same thing. Grab all those 4 layers of knitting project. Take your time and you will put it tighter at the end. Could be nice for Aki mom exchange gift during Christmas time, or just friends exchange gift, or for school teacher. It's a great gift for them too, or for a bus driver. And then you pull and bring your yarn to the opposite. Stretch a little bit, do a double knot here. Make sure you don't tie too much. You don't want to lose your shape of your project, lose the shape of your project. And then you hide it between the tail layer and another tail to hide, and we're almost done. Hope you have enjoyed this little video. I don't have any mug closer to me right now, so I will show you on a bottle how it's look. So time to turn it on the right side. Ta-da! It's magic. It's like my headband, but it's a headband for the bottle or a mug. So won't do any publicity for the company of my juice. So I will hide it there, and voila! See you next week for another video. Ciao ciao.